Hey world, it's being able to come back with another video. First off, make sure you like, share, and subscribe to videos, especially if you've been in the garden a while. Make sure your family and friends get an opportunity to hear things from different perspectives. You know, not the same run-of-the-mill narrative that's projected on the television and in social media. Now, social media has actually taken on the same deceptive lies and misinformation that the television had. They just switched it. And so I wanted to start off by talking about us on code. What do I mean by on code? I mean in every other ethnicity of people come to each other's defense. There's normally not a lot of this, ambiguity. You dig? Where there's some confusion about what group of people supports who. The Chinese people support the Chinese. Other Asian ethnicities support other Asian ethnicities. The Europeans support each other. In this country, Hispanics support each other. Indians support each other. But the only infrastructure of trust and loyalty is only lacking in the Afro-melanated community. And the reason why I say that, because it's very obvious. I mean, if you just look at what's going on now in today's atmosphere, the divide and conquer is real, and it's trying to keep us from really focusing on what we're supposed to be focusing on, and that's economic viability. Because remember, family, it's going to get hard out here. It hasn't even got to the worst it's going to get, okay? So that's why I've been preaching for a long time, especially my family members have been in the garden for a while. Pay yourself first. Because cash is king in an environment like this. Not credit, because credit cards are actually going, if you're using credit cards to sustain, then think about you basically accruing more debt. And so cash is king right now in this environment. We have to make sure we do this. Because in a minute, like I said, this has been something cyclical since they started this crooked system in 1912, with the creation of the central banks. Now they call them, over here they call it the Federal Reserves, because they don't want us to know that the Federal Reserve is actually a central banking system, not even associated with the United States. It is a global banking institution. Remember, it prints the money. The U.S. Treasury don't print money. The U.S. Treasury collects money from us, which is in the form of taxes. And so when you look at the situation we're in right now, with inflation, with everything that's going on economically, educationally, with the United States, I would say the Federal Education Agency, or where I'm in Texas, the TEA, the Texas Education Agency, how basically instead of trying to stop the bleeding when it comes to our kids' intellectual energy, they basically stagnated it. And what I mean by that, our kids out of school 2 years, family. You can't just make that up. What you have to do, you have to stop the bleeding by addressing academic issues with our kids that were out 2 years, i.e. reading, writing, mathematics. Forget history, because those just lies. But we need to have, some form of system in place to make sure our kids can somewhat rebound from this intentional lockdown. Educationally, kids suffer. A lot of small businesses suffer. A lot of individuals who are not deemed essential workers suffer. Now I'm a teacher and a coach, and I guess we was deemed essential, but we didn't get essential raises. We didn't get essential financial incentives. Like in New York, the people that didn't take the COVID shot or refused to take the vaccine, now they're being rehired back, and then they're getting their back pay because, of course, it was unconstitutional. But let's see if Kyrie Irving's going to get his back pay. Because remember, he refused to take the shot, and in doing so, the NBA suspended him for a lot of games with no back, without pay. He's supposed to get that money back, family. We got to stay on code. Where is the outrage for that? You know, Charles Barkley, Shaq, all these cats, please quit putting your faith in these individuals. They're pawns. Remember, just like they allegedly, because I never, ever thought that Kanye West had $1 billion, but you didn't get $1 billion from, dude. And riddle me this, family. What other billionaire comes out on social media and tell people he's a billionaire? Bill Gates never done it. Warren Buffett never done it. Jeff Bezos never done it. Elon Musk never done it. You know what I'm saying? And these are guys that you hear about are billionaires, but they ain't saying nothing. And then a week later, 2 weeks later, he's not a billionaire anymore. 75% of his net worth was taken because of Adidas and Gap and all these so-called corporations ended their relationship with him. Well, last I checked, I thought contracts were binding in court. I thought if you signed a contract, you're supposed to get your money. Where's the severance pay? So he was never a billionaire, family. He was only used as a pawn to actually let us know how we don't support each other. Kyrie Irving, Kanye West, get out of here, dude. And then, of course, last but not least, I want to address this situation with Coach Sanders, Deion Sanders, Coach Prime. Man, I was always kind of ambivalent about him going to Jackson State because my whole thing was, that's the only job you can get? Here you are, Deion Sanders, Hall of Famer. You're all on these Aflac commercials with Nick Saban, so you mean tell me he ain't got clout to get you a top 10, top 20 job? I knew when you went to Jackson State, it was just for a stepping stone because you, as well as I, knew that you were going to get the much better players because of you over there and much more publicity than the other schools. So, of course, you're going to get, you're going to get more, you're going to get better players, and in turn, it's going to help you be more successful at Jackson State, which this past year, they was undefeated, won the SWAC championship. Now, if you remember, family, not too long ago, Coach Robinson, the son of legendary coach Mr. Eddie Robinson, who coached for over 30-some years at Grambling State, one of the greatest college football coaches of all time. His son, which Eddie Robinson played in the NFL, of course, he was a good player, as well as he's a coach in the SWAC. Now, I don't remember if you remember when they played Coach Robinson's team, Jackson State did, there was some animosity and some tension between the two coaches. And Coach Robinson told Sanders that you not SWAC. And what did Sanders say? Well, if I'm not SWAC, then who's SWAC? Coach Robinson, because he's still there. You can't be SWAC, been in SWAC 2 years, and then you leave and go to University of Colorado. If you check Colorado's record, family, they won one game this year. 1-11. And yes, they're in the Pac-12 with USC and UCLA and Oregon State, New Mexico State, all those teams like that, right? And Colorado. Colorado won one game. So, Prime, you'll leave Jackson State, a program, an Afro-melanated program at a HBCU school that's getting mad publicity on ESPN, on game day Saturday, which had never happened before, new facilities. And I understand if you were an up-and-coming coach and financially, it's viable for your family. But Sanders, you're a Hall of Fame football player. You're getting mad endorsements from Aflac and all these other things you're doing. So it's not about the money. So why would you leave? And now all those kids that signed to go to Jackson State because of you, now what's going to happen? Because you're not going to take all of them, because I tell you what's not going to happen. Colorado is not going to allow you to bring all of those players to transfer to Colorado. And you know that just as well as I do. So my heart goes out to the Jackson State alumni, to the Jackson State fans. But I do celebrate and congratulate the efforts of those young men on their football program these last 2 years. Unfortunately, with Prime leaving, it's going to create a void, and that's the thing that hurts me most. Because remember, I was a Division I basketball player. I graduated from Rice University. I was top 25 in the nation. So I'm not just talking out the side of my neck when I say how this can affect college players that choose to go to a school because of a coach, or choose to go to a school because of a program, and then all of a sudden that coach leave. That's not cool, you know? So, fam, I just want to come back with a little love, a little knowledge. Like I said, we got to stay on code. Pay yourself first, family. Like I said, good luck to Coach Sanders, but I just think that, so many times it happens. What about us? And I tell you before I leave, coach by the name of Coach Jobe, Ben Jobe. He was a legendary basketball coach at Southern University in Louisiana. It's an HBCU school. And back at the time I was playing basketball in 86, 87, I wanted to go to Southern University, but I wasn't recruited by Southern. Southern at that time was ranked number 20th in the nation, right? Avery Johnson, Bobby Fields, they had some really good ball players that went in the NBA that went to Southern University. So I know how important it is to make sure that we represent us. And unfortunately, I didn't get to go to the school I wanted to go to, so I chose Rice. But I chose it because I want to stay close to home, stay close to my family. But and I know there are mixed emotions. I know a lot of people are like, well, good luck, Coach Sanders. You don't owe the SWAC anything. But that's why Coach Robinson said you ain't SWAC. In the meantime, between time, may the Most High Saudi bring you joy. And being with is out of 5,000.